my favorite, my personal favorite. One thing about the characters I want everyone to know as well, every one of my characters are mixed. There is no black, white, Indian, or chief characters in here. As a matter of fact, because my father, my great-grandfather was Chinese, my mother is Indian and black, and my father's Chinese and black, and my great-grandmother was Irish, and I'm sure we're all like mutts now these days, and maybe if there were more mutts, there'll be less racism. So in my book, all the characters are actually mixed. Serena, you know, Kowtow, and actually one of my signature in my books as well is their last name. The last name of the characters actually is a reflection of their character. You know, so if you look up their last name, those words are actually vocabulary words in the dictionary, and you will find what the meaning of that character's true nature is. Wow. You know, based on their name. Serena, she's mixed. She's white and black. Her mother was a black woman who ran away at 16 years old, and she was living on the streets. She got picked up by a redneck KKK member. There's a lot of history also in this book. I put a lot of history lesson in this book as well. She got picked up by a redneck KKK member, and he married her, or pretended to marry her. You know, but when he took her home, she became his personal prostitute. And he would bring all the Johns to the house, and they would all have their way with her. Serena is a product of this woman, this relationship. You know, and then when her father tried to rape her, the John, you know, tried to rape her, the KKK member tried to rape her as a young girl, her mother killed him trying to protect her. And she grew up trying to run away from that pain because her father was actually trying to rape her, and her mother died protecting her. You know, so that's Serena's story. Catalina's story, she's a psychiatrist, and she was badly abused as a young woman. So she decided she's going to use her skills. Instead of using her skills to heal, she used her skill to recruit. So she's actually the foundation of the women here that are these killers. She's actually the start of the organization. So she actually looked for captive people who have so much rage, and instead of trying to temper the rage, she actually tried to nurture it and foster it to get these women to really, really hate so they could kill. That's Catalina's story. Elizabeth Kowtow is Chinese and black. Catalina is Indian and black. Serena is white and black. And Elizabeth, who's Chinese and black, Elizabeth Chung, she's Chinese and black, and she's a Broadway actress, but she's an hermaphrodite. So she feels that she could never really have love. People have abused her and called her names and made fun of her, but when you look at her, she's a beautiful woman, but she has two functional sex organs. And just basically how they use that to damage people in the book, that is a surprise all of its own. Lara is Latino, and Lara, she was the girl that got passed around. I meet a lot of men all the time who tell me, you know, a girl who allowed me to run a train on her is okay because she's allowing it. And we know what trains are. You know, one woman in a whole line of men, or orgies or whatever. And she's the woman that's usually caught in those type of situations. And she always feels used. And what I try to tell the men that I know, if a woman's in a situation like that, believe me, there's something going on with her. There's a reason why she's allowing something so damaging to happen to her. You know, and I put a spin on it in the book, and I show her story that she's actually the kind of girl that she started out liking a boy. She really liked a boy. She wanted to spend time with that one boy, and because that boy didn't really like her, he actually invited all of his friends to be with her, and she allowed it because she wanted to spend time with that one boy. And from there, her name got dragged through the mud, and she started having a reputation and just kept doing it. And usually that's what happens in our lives. You know, by accident we start doing one thing, and then, you know, we get dragged through the mud, and then, you know, we cannot stop it. So she's so hurt and damaged by it, she wants to stop. She doesn't want to be known as a person that, you know, gives it up or is used and abused, or, you know, is throwing herself around. Because every time it happened, it killed her. Every time it happened, it hurt something inside of her. And eventually it became too much for her to handle, and she had a psychological breakdown, and you have to read the book to find out what she did. And that's the 4 characters. So they're all mixed, and I try to bring in the races of the world, you know, in the characters, to show that this doesn't happen to just one race or one type of people or one group of people. This happened across the board, across the world, and, you know, we all need to just recognize it.